Hi everyone, this is Steve Earth here. So I just thought I would show everyone exactly how to get onto GeoGebra and save your files and send them to me and so forth. There's going to be a few logistical questions like that going on. So the first thing I want to point out is that it's actually possible to work completely offline if you actually have the GeoGebra app installed onto your local computer. So this is something you'd be doing at home. This isn't be something that you would be working on in the Chromebooks because they don't actually have a hard drive to store stuff. But let's say you're at home. I'm on my home computer, my PC right now. There's a similar steps you can go through for a Mac. But one thing I want you to notice is that in my taskbar right here, right there is the GeoGebra symbol. And if I click on it, and this is only because I've already downloaded this onto my computer, you can see it's starting up GeoGebra, and it's actually running as a program on my computer. So it's just its own little separate window. I'm not actually in a browser. I'm not online. And I can just work my files here locally. And you can do that. If you are connected to the internet, you can still work locally and then upload it to your Geogebra Tube account. You can save it and put it on a flash drive and bring it in. You can save it as a separate file and email to me. You can do any of those things. And I can show you where you can go to actually download the GeoGebra as a separate program itself. But I'm going to close this because most of you are just doing it through the browser, which is fine. So I'm going to close this up and open up my browser, which just happens to be Chrome. So in my browser, you can actually bookmark the GeoGebra page, but in case you don't remember where it is or how to get there, it's on Schoolloop. So right now, if you can tell, this is going to our Schoolloop page. Obviously you don't type in S-Earth, that's me for Steve Earth, but you would log in as you. And as from a student view it looks a little bit different, but what you want to do is you want to go to the locker for Algebra 2. Now notice I've got all my math classes here, but you would go to the Algebra 2 locker, and you'll notice there's a folder here that says GeoGebra. So if you open up that folder, there's something that says Parabola Example. That's just something we did the very first day. Don't click on that. If you click, and this is a mistake a number of students made the first week, if you click on that, you get something you can't edit. So you want something where you can just create your own stuff and change it around and put in your own things. So for that, you actually need to go to the GeoGebra link right here. So do not click the Parabola Example. That's just something we went through on the very first day, where I was demonstrating how you can upload things and take a look at other people's things. What you want is to be able to make your own thing. So the GeoGebra and Chrome link will take you there. And this is the actual URL for it, web.geogebra.org. I know it says Chrome app. I defaulted to the one that the Chromebook uses, but it'll actually work just fine on our home computers here. So the web page looks slightly different than it used to. It's because they just recently updated the version here. So you see this thing. I haven't played around with it too much, to be honest. I think this lets you search for other students and teachers' files that they've made. And you see all these different things here. We're going to go ahead and click Algebra. We'll play around with these other things later. To be honest, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think it's just sort of the default palette that it pulls up when you first open it. But I'm going to go ahead and click Algebra because I know that's going to have what we want. And actually, I'm going to try to zoom out the screen a little bit because there's more I want you to see here. So, because right now it's just focused on this part. But let me zoom out for 1 second here. I just zoomed out to home screen. Hopefully it didn't suddenly get all blurry and something as it refocuses. I guess we'll try to fix that in post. But in any case, I zoomed out so you could see I'm still in the browser here. Here's the URL. Here's all the sort of buttons we're used to. The input thing is up here instead. It's a little bit unusual from what we're used to. Also, some people were noticing they didn't have their axes right here, the X and Y axes. So if you want that, you go over to this button right here and click right here. That actually toggles on and off the axes. So if you don't have your axes on right now and you want them, you can click that. Another thing you can do from up here is there's all these other buttons. So this toggles on and off sort of graph paper. Later on we're going to do other things. This is called polar paper, but let's just leave those blank for now. Also these up here, this is your undo and redo keys. I'm just going to go ahead and close that box. Your input is up here. I'm going to go ahead and show you, oh, for saving things, I almost forgot. So that's these 3 lines up here. These are like your little additional options. So when you click this, you can open up files, you can save your files, you can share them with me. This right here, the viewing option, that's for displaying the different screens. So right now our algebra screen is up. That's the one on the right where it's going to show your numbers and functions, and the graphics screen is up where it shows all that. So there's a number of different things. You can play around them if you like. There's some options like for how much rounding you're going to do and so forth. But I'm going to close all that. And in fact, I actually prefer using the downloaded version of the program just because what I'm used to rather than doing it in the browser. So let me show you how to do that. Alright, so before I actually run the program from my computer, let me show you how to get it yourself on your computer if you wish. And I actually do recommend that. That way, just in case your internet goes down or something like that, you can still run GeoGebra. And I actually like the downloaded version a little bit better than just the browser version. And I think it puts the options in a little bit nicer place. But in any case, so instead of going to web.geogebra.org, you're going to go to www.geogebra.org. So there I am in my browser. And this takes you to this page right here. And notice you've got several different options from this, their sort of main launch page here in GeoGebra. So you can look at other teachers and students' material, assuming they made it public. You can start making your own. That's just going through the browser again. And this spot right here where it says download now, you can download. There are Mac versions, Windows version, Linux versions. You've got it for tablets, both Android and iPad. And coming soon, there's going to be a cell phone version. Some students have tried working it on their cell phone right now. It actually doesn't work so well, so I think that's something they're working on. But in any case, when you want to get it to your computer, again, you don't have to do this, but if you wish to do so, you would click on Download Now, and it takes you to the different options. And again, you can see here they've divided it up. So in my case, since I'm on a Windows machine, I would click Windows. I'm actually not going to do it because I've already downloaded it. It's not a very big download, like 50 megabytes or something like that. But you would click there, and it would download an installer file and just an executable, and you go ahead and run it, and that's how you would get the program. Oh, and one thing I realized I forgot to point out. When you first click to the home screen and try to either do it from your browser or try to download it, it will prompt you and ask you, or it might anyway, ask you to log in. It didn't, which would bring you to this screen, and this is the accounts that we created back in school a week or so ago. It didn't ask that for me because by default I was already logged in. And in fact, if you don't want to log in, there's an option right here which says continue without signing in. I actually don't recommend that because remember, if you want to get credit for the assignments, it needs to be logged onto your account. So if you just sign on as some anonymous individual and try to link back to me, I'm not going to be able to see it from your Geogebra Tube account. So yeah, so you would just sign in using your school email and the password you created. If for some reason you didn't create an account, you can create the account from here too. If you don't remember your password, again, there's a forget password button, but you would just go ahead and type in your user ID and password and sign in, and I'm already signed in. But I would show you that this is what you might get at some point. Once you sign in, it just keeps you signed in. Oh, and really briefly, before I actually go back to run the program, there was something that came up in class from running it from the browser version that I want to address. So here I'm in the browser version, right? So it's just right here. And what some people were noticing is, let's say you've done some stuff. So, here's my file that I've made. So, and let's say you're ready to save it. So over here, I clicked on the 3 lines. There is a save option. And what people were discovering is if they click save, it says, all right, give some title. So maybe I just call it, my dots, because I just made a bunch of dots. So they click save, and it says saving down here. Save successfully, so great. But then they were searching for it, like, I can't find it anywhere. And in fact, it's actually not on your computer anywhere. If you're in the browser and you hit save, it's not saving it locally. Now, when you're running the actual program, you can do save as, and it saves as a .ggb file. But when you're in the actual browser version and you're running it, when you save it, it actually saves it up to your GeoGebra Tube account. Okay, so same thing when you say open here. Now if you're opening from the actual program, you get these options here. Notice I click open. This is sort of the general cloud, and here's where my dots is. Okay, so you can reopen it from here, but it's not saved locally when you're doing it from the browser. Just wanted to point that out. That's why we had some problems finding the file. So what you really want to do is run it from the separate program. So I'm going to switch to that right now. Alright, so here we are in the actual program version of GeoGebra. And let's just say, let me just make a few line segments here. So, okay. So, and let's say I want to save this. So notice I am signed in right now. Not that it won't matter because I'm about to save locally. So I go File, Save As, and this time I'll call it My Segments. And I'm saving to, you can change where you're saving to. I'm just going to save it to my desktop right now. So, and it's going to be saved as a .ggb, that's a GeoGebra file. So I click Save. That's it. And notice that up at the top here it says My Segments. And I'm going to pop down to my desktop and just show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and exit this for a moment. And you'll notice that here on my desktop there's this icon with the GeoGebra logo on it, and it says My Segments. This is my GeoGebra file, and it's now locally saved. If you want, you can just double click on your machine. This doesn't require internet access or anything like that, and it opens up the GeoGebra file that we had saved. So there's My Segments. Let me show you how you can take that file that's on the desktop and send it to me if you like. So to be able to do this, you need to be in your email account. So you might have a separate one from Gmail or something like that. You can always use your Schoolloop account. So I'm going to assume you don't have any outside email account other than your Schoolloop. So this is what you would do. So I'm back to my browser, and you can see I'm on Schoolloop right here. And I clicked on Loop Mail. The interface for students is slightly different, but essentially I'm here. This is my inbox. You can see there's some stuff I haven't read yet. Well, there's a button here that says New Message, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what you would do is in the To box, you would type my name, so Steve Earth, and there I show up as teacher. And you'd put in your subject, so let's just say this is homework number 10, or whatever number it is. I'm going to click here the body, and you can say, you know, whatever you like. Usually the most important thing is put your header information in here. So I'll know your name because it's from Schoolloop. Although if you're sending me from some like Yahoo Mail account or something like that, you do need to put your name in here because sometimes people have like weird email names. So if I get something from, you know, Hot Sparkly 123, I don't know who that is. So make sure you put your name. So this is, you know, John Doe from period 8. It's also a good idea if like you had any questions, you know, you could put that in here, you know. I had trouble filling in the polygons, you know, whatever happened to be. Or if you got help from someone, remember you have to cite all your sources. So you maybe say, but I found it by asking Jane, my sister. Okay, so that counts as citing your sources. And then the important bit is if you scroll down, there's an option here that says attached file. Some people were sending me screenshots. Do not do that. So if you send a screenshot, I can't actually move it around and manipulate the file that you made or anything like that. So a screenshot does me no good. So I actually need the actual file. So you'd click Attach File. And yeah, you could put the display name of what it'll look like when I see the attachment. That part doesn't really matter. I'll just put Homework 10 here. It says Choose Your File. So you'd have to navigate to where you saved it. So mine was just on the desktop. And if I scroll down, there I see it in My Segments. So I'd click on that, fills it in there. You click Open. It doesn't actually open the file, it just attaches it here. So now you actually have to upload it. So I click the Upload button. And one way to double check it's there is if you scroll down, you'll see here, there's that label we made for it, Homework 10. So when you're ready, you just click send. And when you click send, boom, and in my email, I'm actually logged onto my email, so you can see, hey, look, I just got an email from Steve Earth. And it turns out if I open up that email, hey, it's from John Doe in period 8, and he's telling me what he did. And there's a little attachment here, a little paper clip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and open that. And when I do that, it downloads it, and then I can open it from the download. And there's your GeoGebra file. And this GeoGebra file I can actually manipulate by grabbing the points, and I can check to see that everything was correct. So lastly, since I keep mentioning about the Geogebra Tube, which is sort of the cloud account where you can put all of your GeoGebra files, the advantage of doing it on the cloud, by the way, is when you save it to your local machine, that's just fine, but you'll never be able to access it from anything else other than that machine. So when you put it on the cloud, then you can access it from anywhere. And apparently if you're using the Chromebooks in school, it does save it to a Google shared drive somewhere as well. But the Tube account is where you can access it whenever you're logged on to Geogebra Tube, no matter which computer you're at. Plus you can share it with other people so they can look at it as well. Though they can't edit it, so they can only manipulate it. All right. So here we are, and you can actually get directly to Geogebra Tube from the Geogebra program itself. In fact, let me just point out here, there's a little help that's up here, and there's a whole bunch of video tutorials you can get to. There's a manual, there's a forum you can ask questions, or look at other people's questions and read the answers people replied to. There's all kinds of cool things here, and in particular, most of these actually go to Geogebra Tube. So we could either click on one of these, and I'll do that just to show you, or you could actually just go to your browser and type in tube.geogebra.org as well. How about we'll just take a look at some of the tutorials. So I'll click there, and you can see as soon as I do that, it just opens the browser, and it brings me back to their sort of main splash page. And here, from here, you can either click help. So it leads you, so here's some stuff it'll take you. You can go to the tutorials, the forum, the manual, such as it is. It's just sort of a wiki there. Notice it's asking me to sign in. This will actually sign in to your Geogebra Tube account. So I'm actually going to do that. And it remembered my information there, so I just click sign in. And it's not actually in Geogebra Tube account yet, because this is the page I was on. Probably the fastest way to do it is if you just click your picture right there and go to my profile. It gives you your materials. So here's the things that I've saved up. So there was something we saved earlier with my file. Here's the my dots. Notice it doesn't have the my segment because I never actually uploaded that. Okay, that was only saved locally. So this I could get to anywhere just by going to the tubegeogebra.org account and have my stuff. If you want to upload stuff, so by the way, in case you're wondering, how did he get that cool little picture? Under Edit Your Profile, it gives you options. So I'm checked as a teacher, etc., etc. You can put message, but there it lets you change your photo. But I don't want to do any of that. I'm going to go back. So if you save stuff locally and you want to upload it to the Geogebra Tube account, you can either do that through the Geogebra program when you do the file save as, we saw in the Chromebooks that it lets you upload directly to Geogebra Tube, or you can actually do it when you're logged on to your Geogebra Tube account, and I'll just do that now since that's where we are. So I'm in the Geogebra Tube account, and you can see there's an option here to upload more material. So let's upload the My Segments thing that we had saved locally. So you would just say upload material and click that, choose the file, it's saved to the desktop. There it is, My Segments. I click open, and then you click upload. Now, this is something that I was getting quite a few emails about. People were like, it's stuck on 50%, it's not doing anything. So the reason why it's stuck on 50% is if you scroll down, you can see there's actually a continue button. So there's some optional stuff in here you can fill in with a description. This is in case other pieces you're putting on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, on Geogebra Tube. It's possible if you make it public that other people might want to play with it and see what you've done. So you can put a description here if you want, but that is optional. And here you hit continue, and so now instead of 50%, oh, now we're at 70%. And again, you can put in a title. I think that actually might be mandatory. I'm not quite sure. Let's try skipping it and see what happens. There's an option for the language, any tags you want to put on it. So I'm actually not going to make this public. So your options are just like on YouTube. You can make it public, share it only with a link, or always private. I'll go ahead and make it private actually. And let me see if it will let me save without filling in the other things. Oh, nope, I do need to put in a title. So again, we'll just call it segment homework. And then I need a description that's at least 5 characters long. So this is a trial attempt. Okay, and anything else that it requires me to fill in? Oh, I guess I have to choose a language, so I'll just make it be English US. Provide at least 1 tags. Okay, so this tag will be GeoGebra. Fine. Now it's happy, and I click save. And there we go, my material successfully saved. There's also stuff you can create worksheets for. This is really more for teachers and so forth. But I just want to point out now that if you go to your materials, so I'll just click materials here up the top. I click there. So here's, featured materials, just some cool stuff. But again, that's not the stuff we made. If you scroll down a bit to my materials, you can also access from the my profile. You can see now the segment homework is on there. Anyway, that's it. So that's all the different ways that you can save stuff, upload stuff, get stuff to me. So sorry, I probably should have made this video be the first thing that you watch rather than jumping into the homework. But hopefully that's all clear now. And if you have any questions, just feel free to give me an email. Good luck, guys.